Hey everyone, welcome to Jojo's World.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome.
Good evening.
Evening, Governor. How are you there?
That's right. That's how everyone in Legend of Galactic Heroes talks. It's canon now.
How you going, Kirkus?
The Empire obviously all have German accents.
Naturally.
And the Free Planets Alliance are all Cockney.
Yeah. Whenever you hear someone say yang, it's actually, yang. Oh, wait, it's the same
It's
word.
really hard to yank to...
Yeah, to yang in a Cockney.
Yeah.
What's the thing that is like a rhyme?
Cockney rhyming slang?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Yang Wenli, he's gone up the apples and pears back to Isolone Fortress, he has.
The apples and pears?
It's Cockney rhyming slang for stairs.
Oh, for fuck's
And I
sake.
can't remember why.
Because it rhymes
No, but
with
there's more to it than that.
Oh, okay. Apples and pears go down the stairs?
No,
Something like
no. Okay, God, Nick, you're gonna make me look up. We haven't even introduced ourselves yet, and you've already got me looking up the structural requirements of Cockney rhyming slang.
This is back in the time
I'm Liam S. Smith, one of your co-hosts.
Sonny Valentine, the other one of the co-hosts. This is back in a time when Cockney slang was all over the place, though. Rhymes were the hot new thing. People were looking at the Cockney guys and being like, we're gonna, I'm just thinking of a policeman.
Its origins can be found in, as I recall, planning crimes.
Cockney geezers. Because
Okay.
they kill people.
Okay, this is from Vox.com, how to speak in Cockney rhyming slang.
Ooh, tell me more.
Most words of slang work by replacing a word with a synonym, like booze for drink. Rhyming slang replaces it with a two or more word phrase that rhymes with the word being replaced. So, for instance, in rhyming slang, stairs gets turned into apples and pears. So you were right.
Well.
But okay, so okay, this is
There's probably more,
This is
though.
what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So the next step is that you eventually replace apples and pears with just apples to mean go up the stairs.
Oh, I see. So even though you're rhyming, you have to know the other part of the rhyme.
Yeah, there's a tricky second twist that makes rhyming slang even harder to understand. Usually, the word of the rhyming phrase that rhymes gets dropped. So even though stairs rhymes with apples and pears, someone will use the slang in conversation would just say apples. To say go up the stairs in rhyming slang, you would say go up the apples.
Okay, all right. Would you eventually get rid of the go up the and just say, take...
Well, no, then you're just saying a noun.
Oh, yeah. But that's a pretty good code. No one will catch on to you being like apples, and then someone's like, radio boss. And then they carry the dead body up
That's
the
just
stairs.
code words, that is. That's not slang.
Now I've got this
It's
thing
like that
in my...
Mitchell and Webb sketch where it's like, wouldn't it be unfortunate if Mr. Suave met with an unfortunate accident?
Okay, look, we're being too vague
Yeah.
again, all right? You need to say, are we going to murder him or not?
Exactly. We all know that sketch.
We all know the sketches. But do we know the legend of the Galactic Heroes?
Well, Nick, it's interesting that you asked me that because this is, of course, JoJo's World, our JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast. For today, we're talking about episodes 31 and 32 of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And I said as much to you immediately after we finished watching today's episodes.
Yep.
This truly is a show about meetings, and it's never been more true than these two episodes today.
Which is a couple meetings.
Well, it's just a
literally
long series of meetings that Yang is subjected to.
Well, no, that's one meeting, but then...
Well, it's multiple discrete meetings.
Yeah,
Nick.
well,
it's a series of meetings.
It's
a
multiple.
recurring meeting in his calendar.
Yeah, it's one big meeting, but it's broken down to smaller, shittier meetings.
He's sitting there in his white collar Guantanamo Bay chair, being like, "This black site inquiry could have been an email."
Yeah. Oh, God. Could you imagine having to be subjected to that as well? It's like, you're not even being physically tortured. Someone's just yelling at you, being like, hey. Do you think you're good?
The slimiest Super Mario looking fucking Toady in the whole. And I don't mean Toady from Neighbours.
Toadfish, of course.
Free Planets Alliance being like, yeah, you think you're so smart, don't you? But I'm smart, and I know that on account of how dumb I am. That's this episode,
It
right?
really is both episodes. But then in the second episode, everything
Shit goes
comes
down.
Good. Yeah, everything comes good in the sense it all goes wrong.
Yeah. Roger's iron's rusted means television is busted. It's a compound phrase of two different rhyming slang terms. Roger is short for Roger Melly, which is rhyming slang for telly, itself a non-rhyming British slang word for TV. Iron rusted means busted, so he's saying that Rory's television was broken. I think they mean Roger.
You know, this is what this episode tried to teach us. You can't take journalism seriously.
So,
Nick.
Jojo.
JoJo.
No. Yes,
No?
JoJo's.
Yes.
Apparently, I've been called out on social media.
Absolutely destroyed.
I haven't been calmly called in. I've been publicly shamed.
Well, I don't know if a Patreon message counts as publicly shamed, but now we can publicly shame you.
Tell me more.
So, a Patreon of ours, S Parks, wrote in and said, "Hey, Liam's stinging out on you. He's been holding back. Did you know there's hot, fresh, bready, thick JoJo's news on the horizon?" And I was like, no response.
Because that's how we operate our podcast.
Because I didn't know what to do. And I was like, wait, what? Should I check?
You could expose yourself to spoilers.
Exactly. So I was like, he did say he wouldn't spill the beans. And I was like, oh,
okay.
Fantastic.
Once the beans remain safely in their bean container.
And so I was like, all right, well, I'll check in with Liam the next time I see him.
And you didn't.
And I didn't. And then the next time I saw you, I did. And I was like, oh, by the way, you've been absolutely called out.
Just this morning, you mean?
Well, yeah, just when I did it now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you've been called out, and you were like, what?
Yeah, truly, I have dropped the ball. I have not been keeping my eye on the ball that is JoJo's news, the steel ball, you might say. Or you might not. So,
would you say the steel ball's been running away from you?
Yeah, and I better go catch it.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so I did a quick Google of JoJo's news.
Okay.
And I've put together my top 4 items of what this could possibly be referring to. In order from least likely to most likely.
As in, most likely to be the news that is being referenced by our Patreons?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
This is from IMDb.
Okay.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure creator Hirohiko Araki confesses his obsession with Sabrina Carpenter. This is from the little author note appended to the Chapter 21 release of The JoJo Lands, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 9.
Okay.
Just, a classic little author's note.
Yeah.
I know I'm a little late to the party, but I'm currently obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter. What an icon! And there's a picture of Sabrina Carpenter. That's it. That's it.
It's like, where did you get inspiration for your things? Like, well, recently I've really enjoyed
I miss
this
random.
God.
We're going to get back to some more JoJo soon.
We have to.
After season 2 of Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
It's like, there's enough JoJo's adjacent content, but none of it will ever be JoJo's.
I'll commit to hopefully doing some homework and getting us a little saison of JoJo or Araki content.
God, we have to.
Start the next couple of episodes.
Does Araki do anything that isn't JoJo's?
Why bother?
But, has he... I know that he's done a couple of commissions.
I'll find out for you what Araki's been up to lately.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Number 2 or number 3, depending on if we're ascending or descending with this list.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm getting an annoying ad in the way.
Oh my god, that ad is literally half the page. What the fuck?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind x Monster Strike collaboration announced.
The fuck?
A limited JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind collaboration for mobile game Monster Strike begins on January 11th, 2025.
Oh my god.
What's Monster Strike? I assume some gacha bullshit.
It's like a massive game over, in the East, though.
The mysterious East.
The mysterious East that we will never reference ever again. I think it's like one of the biggest mobile games, ever.
Okay. This is their 3rd collaboration with JoJo. And it's going to be Golden Wind focused, but with some other additions. And just looking at this promotional picture here, they are adding Giorno Giovanna, Guido Mister, Narantia Gurga, Bruno Bucciarati, the guy whose name currently escapes me in a moment of great shame, Abakio! 2 season and H, baby! Yep. Muhammad Avdol, Noriaki Kakuin, Jujo Kokoro.
Jujo Kokoro?
You know Jujo Kokoro from part 3?
The bird. The bird guy.
The bird guy?
Jujo Kokoro.
Pet Shop?
No, but who's the
bird guy?
You know in Legend of Zelda?
Oh, no.
Neither do I, but there's a
Kuko.
bird. Yes?
The chickens?
Yes, I think. There was something that sounded like Kokoro and...
Is it Kukos? There's Kukos.
Is it just Kukos?
Yeah.
Or Cuckoos?
Whatever. They're the chickens.
They're all fucking birds.
I saw a thing recently in Majora's Mask, possibly the best Zelda game.
Okay.
There's dog races you can bet on.
Oh,
and
is
now that
this-
I say that out loud, incredibly normal.
Is this about Blue Dog?
It's about Blue Dog.
Oh, what a video.
So you know you probably
Oh,
know more
the-
about this than I do, in fact.
Yeah, so because of the way that the RNG system worked,
Blue Dog was a real dud, it seems.
he basically could not physically win. Like, there's no way he could physically win.
His stats were too bad?
Yeah, so imagine it's like, if I said to you, hey, how about we play a little game? Every second, you'll earn 0.1, but every second, I'll earn 0.2. And you'd be like, oh, okay. And I'll go, great. So for 10 seconds, we're going to play. So that by the end of that, you'd have 10. I'd have...
Whatever double 10
whatever,
is.
Yeah, 20, right? But I'm going to start on 50, and you're going to start on 10.
Right.
You might win this race.
So how did Blue Dog win?
So there's basically...
Blue Dog, of course, the sequel to Red Dog, the most popular Australian movie ever
Hated
made.
it.
They did make a sequel called Red Dog True Blue.
Yeah. Wait, did they?
Yeah, but it's about a different dog because, of course, the dog dies at the end of Red Dog.
Oh my god.
Just like every story about a dog.
Yeah.
Marley and Me, Old Yeller,
But what's
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3, Stardust Crusaders.
Yeah. What's Beethoven?
Don't think Beethoven dies.
I thought he got like the mad
Airbud
Airbud
gets
gets
domed by a sniper.
So there's like an area, right? That is the finish line.
Track.
Yeah, on the track. So the track is a circle. There's an area that's like the finish line.
Yep.
That if you're in that area, like the position of the dog is in the area, it's like, great, race is done. That's your win position.
Okay.
The problem is they made it by going, all right, the area is like this, like a triangle. So I'm drawing a triangle.
Nick is drawing a triangle such that the top point is coming towards him.
Yep. So when the triangle gets here, what happened is this line...
You need to use your words, Nick. You need to use your words.
One of the lines of the triangle, right? One of the straight lines of the triangle, one of the edges, kept going.
I'm edging right now. So it kept going.
And it kept going. Right? This line keeps going to the other side of the track.
This is like can I just...
It's just some
Is
computer
this just
bullshit.
an overflow error situation?
No.
Okay.
No, it's more like because the area of this random
So like a
section-
random like vector of wind zone extended into another side of the track?
Sure, yeah. So then that meant that if you were on that exact line, right, which is like just a line of numbers, if your position is on that exact line,
It would count you as the winner.
it would count it as
And
the
Blue
winner.
Dog did that.
Blue Dog did that after 25 years
Hell
and
yeah.
thousands of attempts.
It just goes to show.
Anyone?
Other characters include...
We're so back. We're so back.
Jean-Pierre Polnareff.
Still on fucking... Yeah.
Joseph Joestar, old style.
Yep.
Not super old style, mid-old style.
Yeah, mid-old. Not part 4, but part
Yeah.
3.
Weather Report.
Ooh!
Hermes Costello.
What was Weather Report's actual name again?
Wes Aquamarine.
Yeah.
Famously, I can never say it. Aquamarine. I did it. End of arc. Jolene Cujo.
Oh shit, Jolene. Oh.
Foo Fighters.
Ooh.
And of course, Kokomo Juju, Part 6 style.
Who?
Kokomo Juju.
Kokomo Juju?
Or whatever I said before.
Kokomo Juju.
See, you're struggling because of the fact that people in JoJo have batshit insane names.
Yeah.
And you forgot the crazy way I misspoke Jotaro's name mere moments ago.
Do you mean the other lady?
I mean Jotaro Kujo Part 6 version.
Oh, Kokoro Johto.
Yeah.
Right, I'm with you.
Anywho, that's number 2.
Yep.
Or number 3.
Number 3.
Number 2.
Number 3.
Now moving on to number 2.
Well, it depends on which way
Yeah.
we're... Yeah.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure announces new live-action film.
Whoa!
Kishabe Rohan is returning to live-action world this summer.
What?
They are doing a live-action adaptation of Rohan at a confessional, which we have watched the animated version of.
Yes,
and if
we
I
have.
remember correctly, that is the one where the man has to do the catch bits of popcorn in
Yeah.
his mouth or die forever challenge.
Yes, because he wants to remove him. No, because some dude is telling a story in the confessional about how they did it.
Yeah, and there was some curse bullshit like what Rohan encounters everywhere he goes.
Yep. They're doing a live action of that.
Yeah.
That's the story they're going with.
Instead of the run that we all want to see.
Could you imagine that in live action? They would have to be like, we had to change actors 2/3 of the way through because of how jacked he needed to be. So instead of that, the actor just got insanely jacked.
Junji Ito plays Dead by Daylight to celebrate ghoulish crossover. That's not the piece of news. That's just a related item here.
Is Junji Ito or a character that
I'm
he
not
has
reading
written?
it.
Okay. I just want to know if they just put Junji Ito in the game and his whole power is just like, yeah,
They probably just put Spiral Man in it.
yeah, probably. Or they just put in the entirety of Amagara Fault.
I've got a 1.5 for you that I've also just found in related items.
Go on.
Because that's what doing a news podcast is.
So this is number 4, aka 1.5.
Yep.
Yep.
After 34 years, JoJo's Bizarre Adventures creator keeps one tradition alive.
What's the tradition?
While it's still New Year's Eve Day for half of the world, Japan is now 4 hours into 2025. Many of us are entering the new year with a mix of dread and anticipation.
Oh, you know I am.
So it's important to hold on to the familiar and the fun. One such tradition comes from the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Hirohiko Araki, who has been releasing illustrated JJBA greeting cards nearly every year since 1991, the year we were born.
You absolutely know it.
Do not dox us. So, he's got... Everyone should look up the Hirohiko Araki 2025 New Year's card, which depicts...
Why, that's a Jolene.
No,
Never mind.
that depicts Jodio.
What the hell's Jodio?
You don't need to know.
No, okay.
But it's the year of the snake, so he drew Jodio with a snake around his arm.
Ah.
And he says, Happy New Year, Reiwa Year 7, 2025. Thank you all for your support during the past year. I sincerely wish you all good health and happiness. I humbly ask for your continued support this year as well. That's nice.
I'll always support Araki.
We will always support Araki until he betrays us.
And then we'll kill him.
I have also seen The Secret 1.75, and I'm not going to look into this one in detail because it sounds sad. Jolene's voice actress Firu's eye to limit activities due to PTSD diagnosis.
Duh.
So that's bad.
That's not great.
And the number one potential most bit of JoJo's.
Yeah. Which is number 5.
Yep. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure composer hints at possible Steel Ball Run reveal.
Ooh.
Basically, what's their name? Yugo Kano? Yeah. Has essentially tweeted out being like, I've been hard at work on something.
Okay, alright.
Over 60 songs recorded with an orchestra over 2 days for a new anime. And they haven't said what it is, but JoJo is one of the big projects they work on a lot. So it's possible.
Very possible. And yet, no word on it.
They
Still.
also work on other projects, yeah. Horses are hard to animate.
Why are they working on other what the fuck?
No, the composer, I mean.
Oh, okay. Why the fuck are they working on other projects? If they're not 100% JoJo's all the time, like what? How could you be a composer? I don't understand.
And if that wasn't any of the pieces of news, go fuck yourself. No, blue sky me at jojosworld.net and I will share it next time.
Yeah.
Until next time,
Yeah.
to start the episode.
Here we go.
Nick.
Yes.
I'm playing a lot of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth recently. No, I'm not going down this path. But I have, and it's good.
So we open.
We open on The Inquiry Committee, Episode 1.
Fuck, it's so many meetings.
Yang is flying into Heinerson with his 2 best friends, Frederica Greenhill and
Mashenko.
Louis Mashengo.
He's currently sitting in a lonesome room reflecting on...
He's writing his memoirs.
Yeah, he's basically writing up his
Good memoirs, not great.
And he's all like, is it not the place of an empire to fight and a democracy to fail?
And he's all... he's all, The Alliance isn't in a great place politically right now, but it's doing better than the old Empire was, which was autocratic and horrible. But the new Empire, even though it's still autocratic, is doing good things for the people. If it continues doing that, we have a moral obligation to ally with them, because we are also meant to be for the people.
Yeah, it's not a democracy by the people, but a democracy for
It's
the
not a
people.
democracy at all.
Yeah.
A government, you mean?
No, he says it's not a democracy, but it's almost democratic. But it's not a democracy by the people. It's a democracy for the people.
The Lowengram administration is bringing about an exceptionally democratic administration. It isn't government by the people, but at present, it is a government for the people.
Oh, government.
Coexistence with Lowengram isn't just possible, it becomes necessary.
I hate when fucking... Okay, this is a thing I really don't like. I don't know how many people have ever read, like...
A book.
Yeah, old school, like, political texts. But whenever anyone says, in any book
fans
ever.
of Hobbes out there? Thomas Hobbes on Liberty, I think that was him. Keep going.
So whenever any like political writer is like, it not only becomes like, good to do, but required to do it.
On Liberty was John Stuart Mill. Anyway.
The Thomas Hobbes On Liberty was a very different book. Much raunchier. But anyway, when they're like, it doesn't just become good, it becomes required. I'm like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
That's not, stop doing that.
I had a thought the other day. A rare occasion.
How did you...
And I think one of the first things you learn is in a philosophy class is what the technical definition of the phrase begs the question is. And then one of the second things you learn is to forget that and just use it the way everyone else uses it.
Wait, but is that a real thing?
I've forgotten because I think it's stupid.
Yeah. I didn't realize begs the question had a technical definition.
A form of argument where the conclusion is assumed in one of the premises. Many people use the phrase begging the question incorrectly when they use it to mean prompts the question. That is not the correct usage.
Oh, okay. But then everyone now is like,
just use it the way everyone uses it.
Yeah.
That's what language is.
Constantly evolving. It makes knowledge impossible. And Yang doesn't care for it. He doesn't like...
They've started getting TV broadcasts from Heineken. So they do a bit of channel flicking.
Yeah.
The first thing we see is the man we will come... We were introduced to him last episode, but he didn't really clock as a major figure at the time. Negroponte. A spineless, snivelling bureaucrat, the type of which we will come to loathe. But he's on TV being like, it's so precious and we must defend it and we should use wave after wave of our own men to do that. They flick away, and then they're watching like a Sentai show or a Gundam show.
And I think Yang is like, wow, this is really painting the Empire in a good light.
It's, what would you say it's I, Claudius coded in its production values?
Okay, this really weirded me out in that all of these guys, the first 4 guys we see are very fantasy nobility kind of...
Yeah, it's I, Claudius.
Yeah, like a real Dragon Quest party of adventurers.
Yeah, it's like a cleric, a barbarian,
a wizard,
the hero.
Yep, and then the king, who looks like I, Claudius, immediately followed by the Shredder.
Well, it's Char Aznable from Gundam. Take my word for it.
Sure. And his legion of fucking Sardaukar behind him.
What's that?
The guys from Dune who are like white outfits. They float up in the air. They're hunting down the Fremen.
I got nothing for you on this,
but
okay.
The evil guys.
Stormtroopers.
Yeah. Just big evil stormtroopers.
They fly now.
In Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's the future. Anyway,
so Char and his Gundam helmet come in and go, Prince, we won't let you get away. And they're like, no, you minister, you're a traitor. And they basically, it's a very oblique reenactment of like some Reinhard von Lohengram shit.
Yep. And they're like, Then
it cuts to an ad for cornflakes.
Oh yeah, cornflakes.
And they're like, wow, I can't believe who sponsors this program. It's a food company backed by Fazan. And Yang exposits, yes, I've been thinking about Fazan. Seems to me they probably want us to be at war with the Empire, because otherwise why would they exist?
I have no basis for these thoughts, but...
But I've immediately deduced the next half of the plot.
Yeah. So already, he's on it.
Yeah.
He knows what's up. He knows all about the Earth Cult, even though he doesn't know anything about the Earth Cult.
Yeah,
intentions.
I was half expecting him to be like, I have no basis in reality for it, but I suspect Fazan is a secret arm of the Earth Cult. That's just the kind of man Yang Wen-Li is.
He's already thinking 3 steps ahead. Potentially 3 seasons ahead.
It's true. Yang and his crew land on Heineken, and Yang is immediately taken into custody of this guy, Bay.
And...
Commodore Bay.
Yeah, and...
a fascist.
Mashenko and Greenhill are prevented from joining him in his new prison cell.
And they spend the rest of these 2 episodes trying to figure out where Yang is and get him released.
Which they eventually figure out where he is, but
they don't have anything to do with his release, but they do find out in time to pick him up from being released. And that's their contribution to the plot.
Yep.
They also provide a vehicle for Bukok to exposit about the current woeful state of politics on Heineken. And therefore, in the Alliance at large.
Oh. Because Heineken is the pinnacle.
Where goes Heineken, goes the Alliance.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Yang Wenli is taken away.
He's taken to
a tiny little motel.
yeah, it's
Shall we
it's
say.
a white collar cell.
Yeah, it's very much like a tiny little apartment unit.
Yep, he's got one tiny window with wires over it, and there's like a full military compound outside, including a big angry dog and a camera staring directly at his window on a tripod in the room opposite.
And he's just like, well, this is solitary confinement.
No TV, no book.
He's fucked.
Eat hot chip and lie.
Yeah.
So he's taken, in short order, to the first session of this dumb bullshit inquiry. He sits down in the chair in his usual Yang Wenli bisexual style.
Bisexual style.
There's a famous community joke, I suppose they would say, about like the bisexual sitting style, which is basically any unconventional way of sitting, like Yang Wenli or L from Death Note.
Or anyone from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Well, yeah. So he goes to sit, and Negroponte, that
immediately.
bitch, is like,
Immediately.
sit up straight. You are being inquired into, after all.
Come on, close up those legs. Get that posture right. Get that neck straightened up. Do you think this is a joke?
You little piece of shit.
You're mocking this inquiry, and I will not have it on my watch.
Yang proceeds to spend the next 2 episodes mocking the inquiry.
So, it's effectively just a massive interrogation with no
Point.
no point, no basis in reality
Well, as we
whatsoever.
learn, as we remember from last episode, the whole point of this is that Fazan put the pressure on them to do this by threatening to call in their debts, to sow division and eventually radicalize Wang Yenli into being, remember that from the first episode? Yang Wenli into, going down the path of Rudolph von Goldenbaum.
Man, and there's a lot of allusions to that happening.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Yet.
Yeah.
Who can tell? We get his family background, Yang's family background, as the start of the inquiry. He was born the son of a merchant, Yang Tai Long. His mother died when he was 5, and after his father died when he was 16, he discovered his father's terrible financial state. Quote, he was penniless when it became clear that almost every antique he inherited was a fake.
What a sad life.
Yeah, so as we know, he enrolled in the academy to
Offset his student loans.
essentially, yeah, so that he could study history,
Yep.
but the history department was defunded or whatever, so he switched to strategic studies and became Yang Wenli.
Doesn't sound very democratic when you think about it.
So, the inquiry board, it's mostly just faceless, snooty old men,
Yep.
including
Negroponte.
and a couple of guys who look exactly like him and wear the same bow tie either side of him. A smattering of
Random politicians.
1 or 2 military guys, and one other guy, what was his name?
Something Lei?
Juan someone. We have seen him before in the Supreme Council of the Free Planets Alliance scenes where they approved the incursion into Imperial space.
Yep.
And he was one of the few sympathetic
Yeah,
faces in the room, along with the other guy that we meet a bit later in this episode. Re-meet. Whose name currently escapes me.
But
you but you remember they avoided the traffic jam with him.
Not fucking Mashenko.
No.
He was an older guy though.
Yeah, he's got a mustache, like a refined mustache.
A refined? No, I can't remember.
He looks like a cool guy.
Remember, if you want to impress Liam with your looks, have a refined moustache.
If you want to impress me with your looks, look good.
Yeah.
It's just that easy.
Yeah. This is why I never impress Liam.
Well, it's because you wear the same outfit every time you come over.
You're goddamn right I do.
But whatever works for you.
Yeah.
So, the first thing they get into is the thing that was foreshadowed as the reason for this inquiry. Why did you destroy the full Artemis necklace? Was it scheming for a future coup d'etat?
Yang Wenli is like, what?
No,
don't. What the fuck are you talking about?
Basically, he effortlessly deflects all of their bullshit questions.
Yeah.
He says, I destroyed the full thing because if I didn't, we certainly would have taken losses to our forces as we were landing.
And I'm not going to sacrifice my men's lives.
Why didn't you just, what's the word? Besiege, blockade, Heinesen and chip away their defences? Well, there's 2 reasons for that. The psychological impact on the coup leaders could have forced them to put a gun to your heads, everyone in this committee, thereby reducing our bargaining power. And also, with Reinhardt wrapping up his coup,
They could have just come in.
Yeah, if we were still in a position of weakness, they could just come in.
Yeah, and they could come in at any moment now. And yet here I am.
Oh,
in
I'm
this
sure that
stupid
wouldn't
inquiry.
happen while I'm here.
No, that'd be ridiculous.
Mr. Juan is like, after that back and forth, and that is like, anyway, I'm fed up, I'm being tired. Why don't we take a break?
And Yang Wenli is like, he's one of the good uns.
He's one of the good uns. There's a weird exchange where Yang talks about, they talk about the concept of a society versus a nation.
Oh, yeah.
And, Mr. Bullshit
Negroponte
is like, people need nations, and as a soldier of this nation, you are required to espouse its values publicly. And Yang says, I don't think people need nations, people need societies.
And he's like, what the fuck did you just say?
You're a pretty radical anarchist, aren't you? And Yang says, no, but you could consider me a veganist. Although when I see a big, delicious, steaming pile of meat, I sure do get hungry.
You're making a mockery of this inquiry.
Yes, I am.
This happens a lot.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Frederica and
Mashenko
have a micro adventure. We may as well run through all of that.
Yeah, so they go find or they try to find.
Well, first
Admiral...
they try to speak to Commodore Bay, the guy that took Yang into custody.
Yep.
And they're like, tell us where Yang is. And he says, no, you need to get Negroponte's permission. Let us get permission. No. Well, what if I tell the press? If you tell the press, I'll have you court-martialed. You can't court-martial me. This is an illegal inquiry.
And Greenhill's all like, well, it's not actually a crime to do that, so you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
whatever.
Do what you want.
And then he goes and reports to Trunicht that that's happening, and Trunicht is like, let me make some sinister phone calls. So they decide to go to
Bucock?
see Bucock at Alliance Military HQ.
Yep.
And they're having trouble getting an appointment with him because everyone here has become bureaucracy pilled since they became away. Oh, you can't just see him. You've got to submit the paperwork.
And they're like, ugh.
A guy on the other side of the animation of this episode looks bad.
Well, it looks sleek, but it's not good.
It's no shading. That's the thing.
Yeah, no shading.
Like a consistent and like repetitive stream of people is walking between them and a guy on the other side of the hallway coming out of a lift, and he's like, "Hey, you don't know me, but I like your dad. I can tell you that Bucock normally leaves around now, and he's parked on the 6th floor.
Oh, thanks for that. We'll go right there right now.
If you take that lift, it'll take you right there."
Oh, great. We'll take that exact
lift. They walk
lift.
away. He turns into his phone that's been on the whole time. They're in.
The eagle has landed, and I'm the vulture.
That's right. They walk out, and there's like immediately like 7 patriotic Night Corps guys there.
Yep. Mashenko deals with 6 of them immediately.
He charges at them and just like punches their heads off.
He punches their heads off so hard.
He snags one of their batons, smashes one of their Jason masks.
It's ridiculous.
They fall back for a sec. The lead guy is bleeding from the face, and he's like, all of you grab him, and I'll go menace Frederica Greenhill.
Who clearly can't protect herself as an admiral.
Shrinks up, not an admiral.
I thought oh no, she's a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She shrinks up against the wall, like horrified damsel style, while Mashenko is being like grappled by 6 men.
And she's all like, "Oh no, it's all over for Lieutenant Greenhill."
Activates his shock baton that he has for some reason. But then, like the light of heaven, the elevator opens and Bucock's there, and he's like, "What's going on here?" And all of the Patriot Knights Corps scatter like rats when a bright light shines on them.
And 3 other lieutenants, I guess.
Just some military guys.
Yeah, some military guys are like, "Oi, you get back here or I'll mess up your face."
Yeah, I'll mess up your drums, which is Cockney rhyming slang for face, because drum and bass rhymes with face. Right?
I mean, you're not wrong. You are not wrong.
I'll batter your drums, I will.
Oh, go on then. I'll bang your drum. I'll fuck up your iron.
Which is?
A lion has a mane, like you have a brain. So it's like main brain. Follow me here.
I'm following you. I don't think you've got this quite right, but I'm following
rhymes
you.
with mane. Lion's mane.
Okay.
Lion. I'll mess up your iron, because iron rhymes with lion.
No, you've gone one step too far there, I think.
I'm full Cockney now.
Oh no.
I've gone so Cockney.
I'm sorry, this is for your own good.
I'm sorry I have to shoot you with my favourite, what's a Cockney for a gun? Was there ever a Cockney thing for a gun?
Let's say, okay, follow me here.
Yeah.
And this is similarly going too far, like you have just done.
Yes, we're in.
Gun is a Borderlands
Okay.
because a Borderlands is a looter shooter.
Okay.
No, this isn't stacking up because I'm trying to rhyme shooter and shooter.
No, you're trying to rhyme looter with Borderlands.
And you know who looks like the guys in Borderlands? The Patriotic Night Corps. And Mashenko stares down at the Patriotic Night Corps regulation mask in his hands.
Wait, is this still part of the Cockney rhyme?
No, this is back in the episode.
Oh, okay, right.
I pulled the parachute on that really smoothly, like you never noticed.
I know.
And on the back of like the head strap is written what is the Earth cult phrase, like "Terra is my land, terror in my hand," or whatever it is.
Something like that. Like, terror is my home or whatever, because they all want to go back home.
Losers.
Earth sucks. Get over it. So, after that...
Let me find the phrase.
Ooh.
Terror is my mother, terror in my hand.
Oh.
And it's like, oh, the Patriotic Night Corps are the Earth cult. Hearing more and more about the Earth cult lately.
Maybe they have some good ideas.
I just want to, like, the change in animation quality and tone from, like, the parking lot assault scene compared to the rest of the episode, with one major exception, was, like, really notable. Like, this looks full-on 90s cyberpunk action. Like, that same sort of blue lighting that we saw for all of Bubblegum Crisis was there.
Yep.
And the design of our evil murder man, he just looks so
Sick.
so gritty cyberpunk compared to everything else in this show.
Yeah. Well, it is the future.
It is the space future.
Yeah. So anyway, rescued by Bucock.
Yep.
And Jessica's all like, "Can I have a meeting with you?" And Bucock's like, "Sure.
Yes.
Come to my house."
Let me exposit about how after the coup d'etat, the rulers of the military lost all of their influence in society, and the head of the military has been stacked with toadies of Trunick's council, and there's a very minor party opposing that, which I'm a member.
But
But
you know,
whatever, people just laugh at me.
yeah, democracy is just a
Why,
popularity
I'm
contest.
90% sure that there's listening devices in this very room.
To which Green Hill and Mashenko were like, "There are what?"
And he's like, it doesn't matter, because if they, tried to prosecute me based on eavesdrop information, I could sue them for my violation of my human rights.
Like, come on, guys.
They know what side I'm on anyway, so, like, nothing matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to come stay with me for a bit?
And they're like, "Sure."
And that's kind of them in this episode.
Yeah. Oh, they do have another thing about the...
Oh, the exposition about the Jessica Edwards union.
Yeah, and how it's just been, like, repressed down.
Like, they learned the Jessica Edwards, what did they call it, the committee?
Oh, I can't remember.
The Edwards Committee, which of course we remember Jessica Edwards was brutally murdered in the coup d'etat.
By the Free People's Alliance coud
National
guy.
Salvation Military Council.
Yeah. After that...
So, the Edwards Party learned that the ruling classes of Heinessen, families, were subject to the same, 15% draft as the rest of the population, but only 1% of their drafted members were sent to the front lines. So they campaigned on this, on a human rights thing, were basically told to shut up, the press wouldn't take the story. They did a public demonstration, the police...
prevented them from doing
repressed the
protest.
Yep, despite having all the proper approvals, drove them into the back streets where they were brutally beaten by the Patriotic Night Corps, including women and children, and then they were all arrested by the police for rioting.
As you do.
And then the media ran a story the next day based on that police report, and, it's not good in the Free Planets Alliance right now.
No, it's pretty bad. But only in the sense that, the democracy is...
Only in the sense that it's like a fascist dictatorship.
Yeah, the democracy's failing, but everything else is going all right.
With thunderous applause.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the entire time this is happening, Yang Wenli is being roasted.
He's alternating between being roasted by these jerks and just sitting in his empty room for hours on end, and they call him at random times and they won't tell him when it's next going to happen.
He amounts it to psychological torture, which it more or less is.
And he's like, I'm going to resign. I'm going to do it this time. They won't stop me. He writes himself a big old letter of resignation.
And then that's the end of that episode.
Yeah. I don't think we need to go through every...
No, it's all
every
the same.
single exchange where Yang makes Negroponte really angry with his good answers to his questions.
Yeah, more or less it just amounts to Negroponte being like, "But you did the wrong thing," and then Yang going, "Did I?
Can you show me a better way I would have done it?" And Negroponte chokes on his rage.
And he's fist shaking under the table like, "That son of a bitch got me again."
And then Yang, philosophizes about the nature of society for a bit, and they say that he's making a mockery of the Inquiry, and he's like, what even is this Inquiry?
It's a mockery in of itself.
Meanwhile, in the Eyes Alone corridor.
Yeah, so there's just like a scouting kind of
Regular
party.
patrol ship, like what
Yeah.
Julian was in that time. He got stuck in a big battle.
Yeah, and they
Everyone
read
on the
something.
bridge is really sleepy, but then some readings start coming through. What could it be?
Oh my god, the mass. It's really big.
It's trillions of kilometers or whatever.
I
Nick got
still...
so angry at the size of this planet base.
I literally went, it's 1 trillion tons. And I went, 1 trillion tons? That's fucking too many tons. Turns out the mass of the Earth is like a Google tons.
Yeah, planets are big, it turns out.
I'm like, holy fuck. What the shit? It's ridiculous.
Mass, approximately 40 trillion tons.
40 trillion tons.
That's small to me, actually.
Wow. You're a big man, Liam, a big man.
So the Empire have successfully moved Geiersburg Fortress into the Eyes Alone corridor. It looks beautiful when they're warping it in. It looks like one of those orbs you would see in the National Geographic shop that when you put your hand on it, your hair stands up.
And like all the electricity stuff would like come out
Yeah,
to your fingertips.
it's arcing.
Yeah.
Looks like one of them, but also space.
And a fortress with guns.
Yeah. And that's
Yep.
the end of that first episode.
Yep. Second episode.
Second episode, even more meetings.
Yang Wenli is still being inquired into.
Yep. But we open with the remaining Eyes Alone main characters, like Julian and Oliver Poplin and Murai, Walter Shenkop.
Yep. That guy that we can't remember the
Kazelnu.
name of.
Yep, the other pilot.
Yep. The big guy.
The fat guy.
The two hotshot fighters.
Yeah, that's Oliver Poplin and the one we don't know the name of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're standing on, I guess, the command bridge of Eyes Alone, if it has such a thing. Being like, well, sure does suck that Yang's not here.
Man, they really picked a great time for an inquiry, and then they get a look from Mirai, and they're like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah,
we're not
I
meant to
really
be here."
like sort of the juxtaposition of everyone being like protagonists doing witty banter, and Mirai being like, "Hey, I actually take my job really seriously. Can you guys stop like zinging one-liners at this huge like geopolitical nightmare that's just emerged?"
I mean, to be fair, if I'm gonna be working on an Eyes Alone fortress, and everyone around me is like, more like Eyes Alone fortress, because there's no one here, am I right? I'd also be like, yeah, there is no one here. Yeah, we get it. Okay, are you seeing what I'm
More like
seeing on the screen?
Geiersburg Fortress, because there's guys over there.
Yeah, there are. There are. I'm sorry. Are you expecting there to just be just beautiful, scantily
Pristine
clad,
space.
like
okay.
models on that shit? Is that what we're getting
Oh,
at?
let me think about that for a minute, says Poplin. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Who's the guy on the Empire side? It's not Fahrenheit. Minimize.
Ruenthal, who hates women.
Yeah, Ruenthal is just like there going. This guy gets it. That's all. That's all I
Anyway.
have. So they're all watching as Geiersburg Fortress arrives. The ex-admiral who defected, that Yang was like, work for me. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. It escapes me right now as well, and it's not really important. So let's keep going.
But that admiral is in the back, and they're
Mercats.
like, isn't that... Yeah, Mercats is in the back, and they're all like, hey, isn't that Geiersburg Fortress? He's like, yep.
Hey, that's where I used to live when I was working with the coup d'etat forces.
And then we never hear from him
No,
again.
they ask him for the stats on it, and he's like, it's 40 trillion tons
yeah.
wide. It's about half the size of Eyes Alone, but has the same gun, basically.
Yeah, it's
740 megawatts radiation cannon.
That's big stuff. So then they just kind of talk about it for a bit.
They
and
talk
go,
strategy, and they're like, we really should try and buy time until Yang is back. Dusty, they're like, maybe we should just play passively and wait it out. Dusty doing his signature move is like, if we're too passive, they might realize Yang isn't here and kill us. So we should be just aggressive enough and stay just outside their range that we keep their interest.
Yeah, but then Rosenritter guy is like, but then, tell you what, they'll think that's part of Yang's plan. So they're not gonna fire on us. So we just wait for Yang, right? He'll be here in no time.
He's 4 weeks away minimum.
That's gonna be easy.
Easy peasy.
Nothing to
We're
worry
probably fucked. We can't win without Yang.
I mean, to be fair,
They've still got all the same facilities.
and 80% of the same staff.
Yeah.
They just don't have Yang.
Yeah.
So they're fucked. Yang was the one guy that did anything.
Well, he is Yang the magician.
Exactly. Oh, man.
So they send the reinforcement request, and they're still in the inquiry. They're still just testing Yang's patience, and the narrator tells us that Yang is just seeing how long it's going to play out. He's got his resignation letter in his pocket, but he's become so frustrated with this whole thing. He's waiting for an appropriately dramatic moment to present it.
He can't just go, I'm sorry, I resign. He has to be like, this is a kangaroo court. The highest order of treason and foolishness.
We hate kangaroos.
I am making my own pouch. A new future. Gooey and resilient. I am a kangaroo now.
For what it's worth, I've just got up to the scene with him. The guy we couldn't remember the name of before, the other former Supreme Counselor, was Joan Lebelo.
Lebelo. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the guy who was 100% like, I'm not going to vote on this fucking TrueNet bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, once again, Frederica and Bukok meet with him to talk about like the situation with the mass media.
Did we get that guy with the ridiculous name? You know, there's that guy who had like 9 names.
Oh, not yet. Or maybe, but
there's a guy
there
who
was
like
Jean-Louis Bourga, Eduardo 24.
Antonio something. It was like, okay, enough of that.
The second episode was much better animated than the first. Like copious shading on people depending on ambient lighting situations.
A lot of dramatic, like brooding lighting as well.
Anyway, Lebelo is the one who talks about the Edwards Committee being violently repressed.
Yeah. Yang is frustrated because he's like, I just want to quit, but I can't quit yet because I can't find the right moment to quit.
Couple of brief scenes of Frederica staying with Bucox, helping Mrs. Bucock prepare a salad. Nick was like, who is this old lady?
I was like, what? When the fuck did we introduce her? We didn't have to.
We didn't have to because Mr. Bucock, Admiral Bucock, was like, hey, come stay with me while you're on planet.
Yeah. Which I didn't hear. I refuse to acknowledge it.
It seemed like, even though I explained that to you while we were watching, you had some unanswered questions. Do you want to go into that?
I thought Bucock lived alone, but evidently not.
No, he's got a wife, Mrs. Bucock, who, per the end credits of this episode, we don't know who voiced her, because it was question mark, question mark, question mark.
But boy, oh boy, we know she exists.
We know she has a voice. And there's a news article that's published in the, like, Highness and Telegraph or whatever. Naughty affairs of Yang Wenli and traitor Greenhill's daughter. That was also one of the bullshit lines of questioning they subject Yang to. Like, even knowing that Mr. Greenhill was the leader of the coup, you still employ his daughter? Aren't you worried about needless speculation? And he's like, no, that's fucking bullshit. She's good adjutant, and I've got the legal right to select whoever I want.
Yeah, so, fuck you.
Yeah. And they're like, you undermine this inquiry with your insolence.
It's just that every time we cut back to it. Oh. And then it all
one
comes to a
guy
head.
gives some like Warhammer 40k commissar style monologue about how without war the people become indolent and regress.
Oh, stagnation.
Yeah. They start yelling at each other. Negroponte keeps banging his gavel, but Yang won't shut up, and he's about to resign. He gives a big speech about how it's nothing we haven't heard before in this show about how it's cowardly for them to sit behind their beautiful desks and send other people to die.
Idiots. Each and every one of them. But no more, says Yang. I'm going to bound my way, the mighty kangaroo that I am.
And he reaches into his shirt pocket.
With his small yet incredibly muscular, lean arms.
And there's a phone call.
So Negroponte's like, Mushy mushy. Yes,
What?
this is Negroponte.
Really?
Is this about my cube?
We'll adjourn at once. You stay in your seat, Yang.
And Yang's like, but I wanted to...
I wanted to resign.
I was going to be dramatic. And he just
He says,
flops back down.
Got the quote here. I missed my chance again? Has there been some change in the government again? I'd be overjoyed if they told me the chairman was dead.
I just love the fact that, like, every time he could just walk up and be like, fuck this, I'm out.
I mean,
plop it on the
he did
desk.
do that before, but not Bucock, whoever his superior was
the
that
other
has
guy.
retired, was like, no, we need you because of people like, what's his name?
Lowengram?
No, the guy who got so angry he died.
Oh, the guy...
Not Lynch.
Like, got so angry that he died?
Bucock yelled at him and he had a stroke.
Yeah. We're thinking of the same guy.
Yeah, we know.
Price? Andrew Price?
Andrew Fork.
Andrew Fork. That piece of shit.
Yeah. They were like, we need people like you in the military because otherwise people like Fork will become ascendant.
And naturally, at this moment, Yang is like, but I wanted to... Oh.
Meanwhile, Frederica is meeting with Bukok, and he's like, "Didn't you hear? It's great news. We're going to war.
Ironic, isn't it?
The Empire is invading Isolone Corridor in droves. So they need to release Yang from the Inquiry to go
Fight
it."
And, it's going to work out great because he's only 4 weeks away. So,
And Lebelo has figured out where Yang is. They go pick him up. And then Juan in the Inquiry bigwig secret side meeting room is like,
the good guy.
"Hey, someone's probably going to need to resign because of calling Yang away for this stupid inquiry. And it's not going to be Yang."
And Negroponte is shaking.
No, my precious civilian job.
It would really look like some kind of image down of the government.
Yeah, they keep using this phrase in inverted commas and in the Japanese dialogue, English, image down.
Which I could
I get it.
I get it. But all I could think of was dive her down.
Yeah.
But of the government.
Image her down.
Listen, you just gotta image her down. So Negroponte is like, wait, but that means that my job would be on the line if Yang came out and said anything bad about this whole inquiry thing, because no one knew this inquiry thing was happening, and I'm in charge of the inquiry, and so he could pin it on, and he sprints out.
Yep. So there is a scene where they go back into the inquiry where they release him from it and like, "You need to go back and do your duty and defend us, Yang.
You beautiful bastard.
And he's like, "Well, I will, because my friends are there and I care about them. Oh, but I'm gonna need a public explanation of why I wasn't there."
Assuming I live. Bye. So then Negroponte is literally shaking, and he sprints out the door as Greenhill and Mashenko escort him out of the building.
Oh, and Mr. Juan says, "He's the hero who saved our nation. If it's not for that impudent greenhorn," which someone else in the scene calls him, "we'd be surrendering to the Empire right now and be in political prison. We probably shouldn't have been doing this stupid bullshit for the only man keeping us alive."
Amazing.
And then there's a scene where Negroponte is speaking with Trunicht, and Trunicht's like, "Well, I'm not gonna fucking resign."
He's holding an antique vase.
Yeah, he's holding
this
big, beautiful Roman vase and just like stroking it.
As on the other end of the line, fucking Negroponte's like, "Wait, does that... I guess you're right, I have to take responsibility." And Trunicht's like, "Yeah, you do."
It's like, "I can give you another job, whatever, it's fine."
So Negroponte's like, "Alright, I'll take responsibility." Sprints out.
Finds Yang in the streets and like does the Japanese get on your knees and like put your hands on the floor, hands and head on the floor, being like, "I beg you not to make a public statement about this stupid bullshit."
Please.
I just wanted Yang to do a heat move on him.
Please, I beg you,
Essence
please.
of unnecessary inquiry.
Essence of unnecessary inquiry.
Yeah, where he grabs a bicycle and shoves it down his throat.
So Yang naturally is like, "What the fuck? No.
People are staring.
Please, get the fuck out of my way. I wouldn't want to image down the government
Yeah,
like
we would
this."
hate to have an image down.
Yeah. Just remember that for later, by the way.
Olympus has fallen. White House image down.
So Yang walks away.
The
victorious.
characters we like, Yang and friends, have a delicious meal at Restaurant White Deer.
Which, sure.
And basically, Labello exposits, like, they're worried that you'll become a dictator like what Rudolf von Goldenbaum did.
Back in the day, 500 years ago.
Because prior to becoming a dictator, he himself was just a popular commander with, a high opinion of himself, but he didn't want any power until he did. And they're worried you might do the same. I don't want to believe that.
Yeah, he stood for democracy as well. And then he didn't.
Yeah.
Like the God King Emperor of mankind.
Yeah.
Which Goldenbaum kind of looked like in one of these shots, which was really odd.
I simply couldn't comment.
He has a big cape.
Yeah, they did we've seen this painting of him a few times.
Yeah. It's interesting because I didn't think about this before. Goldenbaum has a big cape. Lohengrin has a big cape.
Yeah, they like big capes in the Empire. Nick.
But like,
I don't know
both
what
of
you're
them-
driving at here.
Well, no, because all the admirals don't wear big capes, but Lohengrin's always worn a big cape.
He didn't get his cape when he became like senior vice admiral or whatever.
No, he's
senior
always
double admiral.
he's always had a cape.
Ah.
So I think he's using it as symbology.
Well, he does love to symbology, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
He does love to swish his cape.
Exactly. Just to be like, what are you saying of me?
Kirkheis, give me my cape.
Kirkheis is dead.
I need to swish.
Kirkheis is dead. Let me brew.
Oberstein.
Open the door.
There was
let anyone in.
Speaking of Oberstein,
Oh yeah, true. There was a weird moment.
I think it might be in this next scene we're up to now. So once again, it's the eyes alone command crew being like, uh-oh, Geiersburg Fortress is getting closer, and Poplin and the other pilot are back having one of their signature back and forths about bullshit.
Yep.
And it's like, I never voted for Trunick, those government idiots. It's not about if you voted for him, it's about the majority. And he says, don't make detailed political arguments. Who are you, Oberstein?
Do they just all know who the
I
admirals are?
guess so. I mean, Oberstein's not even an admiral. He's the chief of staff.
He was an admiral?
I guess Oberstein was employed on Eyes Alone before.
Yeah,
Remember? He sauntered away.
but none of these guys would have been
What?
on Eyes Alone.
No.
So
I guess they just know who Oberstein is.
everyone knows all the huge high-tier military play. Do you reckon in real life everyone's like, oh...
I mean, it makes sense that they would have, military intelligence about, like, the main commanders of the other army.
Yeah, but, like, they're
I feel
not
like
gonna-
Oberstein feels a bit divorced from that.
But they're not going to mythologize each other and be like, oh, you're being
Yeah,
such
Oberstein always talks about detailed political arguments.
Yeah, exactly, I mean, maybe it's like the romanticization of
That
this
Yang
age or
Wen
something,
Li,
but
he's a bit of a carry. Me, I'm a Miranda.
I thought you would be a...
Name a third Sex and the City character. You can't.
Fuck, I really can't. I don't even know what the one you mentioned before was. All I know is Miranda. Because she's the one who
Carrie
has...
is the main character.
Carrie's the main character. Miranda is the fun one.
No, I think Samantha is the fun one.
Who the fuck is Samantha? Which actress is Samantha?
I don't know.
What color is her hair?
I'm being smug, but I barely know any more than you do.
Oh, okay.
Just because I've listened to Guy Montgomery and Tim Batt watch the Sex and the City 2 movie 52 times. Doesn't mean I took any of it in.
Yeah, you just remember their pain.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, Sally Spectra, maybe coming back to Bold and the Beautiful.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna
As played by Courtney Hope?
As played by Courtney Hope, who should be playing Hope in Bold and the Beautiful.
We can't get into this.
Oh, alright, fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Klein or Kleitz or whatever his name is, the commander of Geisberg, sends a message to Kempf, sends a message to the Eyes Alone team being like, hey, we're about to kill you all, but we should exchange some pleasantries first. That's it, really.
Yep. And they get no
don't-
response.
Damn, I really hoped Yang Wenli would respond.
Ah, well, I'm sure he'll respond with force.
Anyway, fire the vulture's claw, the main cannon.
And so we get a brief narration saying, Eyes Alone Fortress, impregnable, immutable, indestructible.
And we see, like, electrons emerging from Geiersburg to power the main cannon.
Electrons?
Electrodes.
Electrodes.
Voltorbs.
Big, beautiful cylinders. So, yeah, we get narration that's like, it cannot be, touched by any projectile
Until
or physical
now.
weapon. Now we will talk in the past tense. Which I found to be the fucking
Yeah.
most banger line.
That was more or less it verbatim.
It's like, whoever wrote that is like, how do I make this the most epic shit? It's like, we'll now discuss this in the past tense. And you're, oh, yes.
And as we see the big Death Star cannon beginning to fire, that is the end of the second episode.
My.
Fun times.
So, Liam.
Yeah.
Sally Spectra. No.
Sally Spectra, aka Jesse Faden.
Yep, from Control.
Yeah.
The new director.
Of the Federal Bureau of Control.
It's her first day.
I guess I'm looking forward to FBC Firebreak, but I'm skeptical that it'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be good.
I guess we'll play it. 'Cause
Yeah.
You've played Control now, and we like to play multiplayer shooters together.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's going to be great, so...
We'll see.
Yeah. The game mechanics of all Remedy games, you just kind of go, yeah, but the stories make
I mean,
you go...
I liked the playability of Alan Wake 2.
Yeah. What about your highlights and lowlights?
I guess if I had to pick
these
a
episodes.
highlight from this episode,
I know what my highlight would be.
please go on.
My highlight is going to be Yang, penning his resignation
I'll
letter.
resign, I'll show them all!
But then he couldn't just hand it over and be like, fuck you. Instead, he's doing what we all do, which is, I'll wait for my moment. My moment will come. If I just get the right moment, it's all going to fall into place. If I just learn German, it's all going to fall into place. If I just do the dishes and put them away, it's all going to fall into place.
Next thing you know, it's time to retire.
Fuck! It didn't fall into place! I guess I can't resign.
My highlight is probably... Oh, it's gotta be, Negroponte realizing his house of cards is collapsing
He has to
and-
take responsibility.
Yeah, he's gonna have to resign. He's gonna have to throw himself on Yang Wenli's mercy despite being a smug piece of shit for as long as we've known him.
Oh, please, Mr. Wenli, please, I beg of you. And it's like, no, I think not this day. Ha 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 ha. Hashtag slay, and then just moves on.
Yeah, that's the thing young people say.
Yeah, I'm hip with the kids. It's unironically something that more people than a few in our office have started saying, and now I can't stop saying
I
it.
see.
Yeah.
Lowlights.
My lowlight is gonna be the absolute just... Why was Jessica unable to defend herself in a confrontation?
Frederica.
Frederica Greenhill.
Jessica's dead.
Jessica's so
And
dead.
Yang never spoke again, remember?
Yeah, no. Frederica is unable to defend herself, in a one-on-one fight with someone.
Yeah.
As
I feel
a
like
lieutenant.
she should have some basic combat training.
Like, at the very least, being able to go do this.
Like, this guy was big. This guy had an electric baton. I could see her being overwhelmed.
Overpowered, sure.
I feel like she should at least...
Attempt.
Or at least be willing to try.
Yeah, as a
And not
lieutenant.
just... It was full-on damsel in distress, shrink into the corner of the room.
Yeah, I don't really understand what was up with that, so that irked me. And it's not even like you just know that if I was ever like, it's because she was a woman, they couldn't possibly have a woman fighting, someone would be like, yeah, that's not what it was.
I'm looking up adjutant.
It's actually pronounced adjutant.
A military officer who acts as an administrative assistant to a senior officer. Yeah, nothing there says she shouldn't be able to.
But she's a lieutenant. Surely at that level you would
Yeah,
have
that's what I'm
some kind
saying.
of training. I don't get it.
Anyway,
So that's my low light.
yeah, fair
For
enough,
sure.
fair enough.
What's yours? Punk.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess if I can pick a meta low light, as we sometimes want to do,
As you must.
all of the inquiries were pretty similar in structure.
Yeah, they were all like, Yang, why are you a shithead?
Yeah, we could have achieved pretty much the same thing by doing the first one or two of them and then focusing the rest of the episode on like the trying to get Yang out.
And even then, they were all basically
Because it was,
to...
lest we forget, but or lest it be unclear to the listener because of the structure of our podcast, this was 2 full episodes of the inquiry.
Yeah.
Could have probably kept it to a 1 in terms of inquiry scenes and had the same impact.
Yeah. And all of them were just like, philosophically
Yeah.
speaking. And it's like, we already...
Because they had no charges, really. They had nothing to... and that's the point of it, we know.
Yeah.
But, ugh,
Yeah, we have to sit through that.
truly a show about meetings.
The endless 2. Because it's just 2.
Yeah,
two
this was
episodes.
Yang's personal Endless 8.
Yeah.
So, Nick.
Yes.
It's kicking off.
It's
It's
so bad.
kicking off.
Isolone Fortress is under attack by
Geiersberg
Geiersberg Fortress, which can move now.
Yeah, they strapped big engines to it and it worked fine.
This is like, in every RTS game where you eventually just make the death ball and you're just like, yep, I've made my most powerful unit, and you just run them in. They've done
I'll
it.
take your word for it.
Yeah. It's like in in StarCraft, you build the Archons, which are the big glowing guys who are just pure energy when you Protoss.
I'm just taking your word for it, but sure.
And they're all like on everything.
Shut up. What will happen next episode?
Oh god, okay.
In the episode entitled...
A battle without weapons?
No, that was this episode.
What?
That was the second one of these episodes.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
What? Oh, no, it was. You're right.
Fortress versus Fortress!
Ooh, I wonder what'll happen.
I think there'll be a battle without weapons.
I don't think we're gonna use weapons. I think we're gonna use weapons.
And the second of our 2 episodes, The Return.
The return.
So it's going to be a classic Goku situation, where Yang is Goku.
In that he
And that everyone
arrives
else
at the last
is
minute.
desperately trying to hold out until their big hero arrives.
Yep.
Whether or not it plays out like this, because this isn't that kind of show necessarily,
Yep.
is another question. But the structure of waiting for him to get there will be similar, as their losses slowly mount as the, for some reason, much more capable Geiersberg Fortress
just slowly comes in.
encroaches on their
Yeah.
impenetrable defenses.
I want to believe.
I don't know why, if they have equivalent guns and their fortress is much bigger, they couldn't just shoot down Geiersberg Fortress as it approaches.
See, this is what I was thinking, is that if they have the same kind of weapons, but Isolone just has more armor. But the thing is, all of the weapons are ineffectual against
Each other.
the, like, hydrometal and whatever, right?
Maybe.
So,
We'll see. We'll see when that big gun fires.
yeah, so I'm wondering if Eyes Alone will ever get a chance to shoot back, or if they're gonna take out like some kind of key
Yeah,
system or
yeah.
something, and that's why they can't just blow it out of the fucking
It's going to be
sky.
a fun little reversal of when Yang took Eyes Alone in the first place.
Yeah. Maybe this time it'll be like Yang arrives at the last minute, but it's too late. And they're all fleeing already. And he's like, it was because of that damn inquiry.
Yeah. Time to become a space fascist.
Who knows? Who knows? Actually, I reckon that's probably what it's going to be, is that he'll arrive, it's too late, and he'll be like, I knew it, they fucked me.
Based on one of the last remaining spoiler images I've seen, I know that eventually Dusty dresses up as some sort of big space pirate.
Yeah.
So I can imagine them scattering and him becoming some sort of soldier of fortune living on
Some
the edge of
mercenary
space.
ass fucking, just a magician. Yeah, who knows?
Well, we'll find out all that and more next time. But until then,
To be continued.